Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. We're going to dive into something pretty wild, a fascinating, completely invisible force that literally surrounds us every single day. It's a technology that quietly permeates our daily lives, making things safer, smarter, and just infinitely more convenient. Yep, we're talking about infrared technology.
Think about this for a second. How does a robot see in the dark? I mean, it doesn't have eyes like we do, right? And yet an autonomous machine can easily navigate a pitch-black room without hitting a single wall. The secret to this is a fundamental sense and respond mechanism driven by infrared sensors. So today, we're going to decode exactly how this works. We'll take you all the way from the foundational physics of invisible light straight through to a practical hardware project you can actually build yourself.
All right, here's our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start with part 1, the invisible light, then move to part 2, how IR sensors work. After that, we'll look at active versus passive sensors, check out some real-world IR applications, and finally, we'll wrap the whole thing up with a hands-on project, an obstacle-avoiding robot. Let's get right into it. To really get the technology, we first have to grasp the physics. So, Section 1, the invisible light, basics of infrared. So what actually is an IR sensor? Basically, it's an electronic device that detects infrared radiation to sense motion, measure heat, or recognize objects completely touch-free. And the crazy thing here is that literally any object with a temperature above absolute zero naturally gives off some level of infrared radiation. This light exists just past the red end of our visible spectrum, starting at around 700 nanometers. Because we can't see it, it allows for these stealthy, lightning-fast interactions in our everyday devices. We can use it to sense motion or detect a physical object without ever making physical contact.
So now that we know what it is, how do we actually harness it? Let's break down Section 2, how IR sensors work, and explore the core mechanics. Take a look at the anatomy of a standard IR sensor module. It looks super simple, right? Just a tiny package on a circuit board, but it's actually a highly coordinated little team of components. First up, you've got the IR emitter, usually an LED, which fires out the infrared lit. Right next door is the receiver, typically a photodiode, which captures that light when it bounces back. But the real brains of the operation are in the background. The comparator, often an operational amplifier, processes the electrical signal from the receiver. And finally, the potentiometer is this tiny knob you can turn to tweak the detection sensitivity, essentially changing how far the sensor can see. The really crucial part is how all these components interact in sequence. Think of it kind of like throwing a tennis ball against a wall in a pitch-dark room. You throw the ball, that's step 1, the emitter sending out that IR beam. Step 2, the ball hits the wall and bounces back. That's the light reflecting off a nearby object. Step 3, you catch the ball. Your hand feeling that impact is the receiver detecting the reflection. When the photodiode catches that invisible light, its electrical resistance actually drops, causing a voltage change in the circuit. The comparator notices this voltage spike and instantly fires off a high digital signal, basically shouting, "Hey, there's an object right in front of us." But, not all IR sensors play that bounce game. Moving on to Section 3, active versus passive, emitting versus watching. This is a really fascinating contrast, the difference between emitting light yourself and simply watching for it. What we just described with our tennis ball analogy, that is an active IR sensor. It is constantly projecting its own energy out into an environment to see what bounces back. Passive infrared, or PIR sensors, on the other hand, are a totally different vibe. They don't emit any light at all. Instead, they just sit quietly and wait to detect natural thermal radiation, basically the body heat that humans or animals naturally emit. So if you want your robot to stop before slamming into a wall, you're going to use active IR. But if you want a security light to flick on when someone walks up your driveway, you use passive IR. All right, zooming back out for a second to see where this fits in the big picture. Section 4, real-world IR apps, IR in everyday life. It is honestly mind-blowing how versatile this core mechanism is. Think about it. When you press a button on your TV remote, you're using an IR emitter to flash a rapid, invisible Morse code to a receiver on your TV. It's literally an optical communication link. Smart thermostats use IR to accurately gauge room temps and save energy. In healthcare, those non-invasive thermometers use thermal IR to instantly read your body heat without ever touching your skin.
And the exact same basic sense and respond principles we just learned, they're scaled up for massive automotive safety systems to spot obstacles on the highway, and even used in satellites orbiting the Earth to monitor deforestation through thermal imagery. It's everywhere. Okay, enough theory, let's get our hands dirty. Section 5, Project Robot, the obstacle avoiding bot. If you're building one of these at home, you are essentially Frankensteining a little electronic creature. You start with the brain, an Arduino Uno R3 microcontroller. Then you wire in the muscle, an L298 motor driver to control the wheels. For its eyes, you're going to need 3 active IR proximity sensors mounted right on the front. For movement, just 2 standard DC gear motors with wheels, a punchy 11.1-volt LiPo battery for power, and a basic chassis with a little caster wheel at the back for steering and stability. So how does the code actually bring this thing to life? The logic loop running on your Arduino is elegantly simple. Step 1, the default state. Just drive forward. Step 2, the IR sensors are constantly out there, throwing their invisible tennis balls. The split second a wall reflects that light back, the sensor triggers a digital high signal to the Arduino brain. Now, without this specific programming, your poor robot would just aggressively grind its wheels into your living room baseboards, right? But thanks to step 3, the code tells the motor driver to instantly reverse the motors for a fraction of a second, just to back up and clear some space. Then, step 4, depending on whether the left or right IR sensor triggered first, the bot turns away from the obstacle, finds a clear path, and hops right back to step 1. It really is that simple, but man, is it profound. We've taken a pure physics concept, light just outside the range of human vision, and used a tiny, cheap piece of silicone to translate it into physical, autonomous action. So I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up our explainer today. If a basic, inexpensive IR sensor module can safely guide a DIY robot around your living room, what other invisible signals are going to navigate the future of your daily life? From your health to your smart home to the very roads you drive on, the invisible world is always watching, sensing, and responding. Thanks so much for learning with me today. Keep your focus sharp and keep exploring. Catch you next time.